right, our next topic on BTBS. I believe Owa Digizua is going to be the first person on the board in the NFL draft. Yay or nay, McGrath?
I think probably yay. I think he's probably going to be the first one taken. I think that's what most draft projectors are saying will be the first Bruin taken. I think Kendricks is more of a value pick, though. I would rather take him later. I think he's going to be a better player for his draft pick than Owa is. So I would probably view him as the biggest success of the draft.
I can see that. But Owa, you know, the one thing I know GMs are going to be drooling about, height, weight, speed. All about that. 6'3", 267, 33-inch arms, a 4'6", 240, and a 1.61 split. The average for linebackers last year, Jack, was a 1.6 in the 10-yard split. So you have a 267-pound defensive end running as fast as some linebackers. He doesn't have that much wiggle to him. He's a little stiff, but he's got the technique. He's got the brute strength. I see him as a player, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but a developmental player, maybe a little bit like Greg Hardy, didn't have that much success in his first couple of years, but coming in and being a great talent in the NFL. I do agree, Eric Kendricks is going to plug right in. He's going to be played day one. More athletic than I thought he was testing the combine, but he is going to be solid.
Yeah, and then I think the last person we all would have been talking about more last year is Brett Hundley. It seems like coming back hurt his draft stock, didn't help it. It seems like he would have been taken higher in last year's draft. It seems like both Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, some other arguables are ahead of him at the quarterback position. He seems to have really dropped off, and I think it's decision making. I think it's as simple as that. We saw those bad picks this season. We saw him in crunch times kind of struggle.
I will say, do we think it's the system or the player? Because that's a big debate when coming with NFL like quarterbacks.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think our receiving talent wasn't great this year. Obviously, I think it was probably better last year. I think most people would agree with that. So Brett probably had a little more to work with last year. But the decision making is really his fault. Those bad interceptions, those bad decision making, sometimes he just went out there and he couldn't throw the ball. And we saw much more consistency out of Marcus Mariota. And then Jameis Winston, the guy can throw the ball 100 yards. I mean, it's apparent like he will go higher than Brett Hundley.
And I hate to say it too, but I totally agree. You know, I see him as a little bit as a project player. I think a team, like if a team gets him the right system, develops him, maybe a little bit of mechanics issues, you know, that might need to retool that. But I see Brett Hundley, he can be a successful pro. If not a starter, you know, maybe a Jeff Garcia type backup. Like, if you put him in the game, you're not going to feel bad about it.
Yeah, you're not going to feel bad. And he could benefit from working under a system with an older quarterback. We have the Ben Roethlisberger draft class starting to get a little older, the Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers. Those teams are going to start to have to look for their future quarterbacks because, you know, Ben Roethlisberger in 5 years is not going to be your solution. Same with Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning. So I think maybe if he gets into one of those systems, works under a veteran, I think he could be successful.
I'm looking at Drew Brees right now at the Saints, actually. You
Yeah.
know, he's got, you know, 2-3 more years left. I don't know, you know, and go in there, you know, be under his wing, learn a little bit, and maybe he's ready to go.